Build Your Unbreakable Mind. Written and published by Naqib Larry. Introduction. The Journey to an Unbreakable Mind. Every human being carries a battlefield inside their mind. Some wars are fought against the weight of past mistakes, others against the uncertainty of the future, and many against the quiet but relentless voice that says, "You can't." Yet, throughout history, the people who left their mark on the world were not the ones who avoided hardship. They were the ones who stood tall in the middle of it. An unbreakable mind is not born in comfort. It is forged in moments of doubt, shaped in the fire of adversity, and strengthened every time you rise after a fall. It's not about never feeling fear, but about moving forward despite it. It's the inner power that lets you keep going when the odds are stacked against you, the calm in the chaos, and the courage to act when giving up feels easier. This book is your blueprint. Over the next chapters, you will discover how to reprogram limiting beliefs, master your emotions, develop daily habits that build mental resilience, and adopt the warrior mindset that sees no limits. Each principle here is not theory. It's a practical tool you can apply in your daily life, no matter where you live or what challenges you face. If you commit to the journey ahead, you will learn to see obstacles as training, pain as purpose, and challenges as invitations to grow. You will not just survive, you will thrive, lead, and inspire. Your unbreakable mind is waiting to be built. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Blueprint of Mental Strength. There comes a time in every person's life when everything seems to be falling apart. Dreams crumble, hope fades, and your own courage feels like it's slipping through your fingers. In those moments, you can't help but ask yourself, am I really this weak? Can I not rise above this? And it's in these exact moments that two paths appear before you. One leads to surrender, to giving up and accepting defeat. The other leads to growth, to standing back up, wearing your scars like medals, and fighting for your life with everything you have. This chapter is for those who choose the second path. Those who want to build a mind so strong that no storm in life can break it. Mental strength is not something you are born with, nor is it something you can acquire overnight. It is a habit, it is a skill, and most importantly, it is a choice. Every day, in every situation, you have a decision to make, to be a slave to your emotions or to be the master of them. Having an unbreakable mind doesn't mean you will never feel sadness, anger, or fear. It means that even when those emotions arrive, and they will, you stand firm, you think clearly, and you keep moving forward instead of collapsing under their weight. The first step in building an unbreakable mind is awareness. Most people drift through life reacting to whatever happens around them. If someone insults them, they get angry. If life throws an obstacle in their path, they get discouraged. Their mood and actions are controlled by the world outside, not by the power inside. Awareness changes that. When you become aware of your own thoughts, feelings, and patterns, you stop living on autopilot. You start noticing when fear tries to creep in. You catch yourself when your inner voice whispers, "You can't do this." And in that moment, you have the chance to change the script. Think of your mind as a fortress. If the walls are weak, every storm will tear it down. If the foundation is shaky, the smallest earthquake will bring it to the ground. But if you build it strong, brick by brick, habit by habit, no matter how hard the winds blow, it will stand tall. The foundation of this fortress is made of your values, the principles you refuse to compromise on. If you value growth, you will see challenges as opportunities. If you value discipline, you will keep going even when motivation is gone. If you value integrity, you will remain honest and upright even when no one is watching. These values are not just words on paper. They are the core pillars that hold your mental strength in place. The second part of the blueprint is emotional control.
Life will test you with losses, betrayals, and failures. There will be times when you want to scream, give up, or run away, but an unbreakable mind does not allow emotions to take the wheel. Instead, emotions are acknowledged, understood, and then placed in the back seat. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means not letting them dictate your direction. Imagine a ship in a storm. The waves are huge, the wind is wild, and the crew is panicking. The captain doesn't start screaming or throwing the wheel overboard. He grips it tighter, focuses on the course, and navigates the ship to safety. That captain must be you in the storms of your own life. Another critical layer in the blueprint is perspective. Weak minds see problems as dead ends. Strong minds see them as detours, maybe even as secret shortcuts. Every setback carries a seed of growth if you choose to look for it. History is filled with stories of people who faced crushing defeats only to rise stronger than before. Thomas Edison famously failed thousands of times before creating the light bulb. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, yet emerged not with bitterness, but with the determination to unite a divided nation. They didn't succeed because they had perfect lives. They succeeded because they chose to believe that their current pain was temporary, but the lessons they could learn from it were permanent. One of the biggest lies society tells us is that strength means never breaking. The truth is, real strength often comes from being broken, from being tested to your limits, from standing in the ashes of what you once thought was unshakable and deciding to rebuild anyway. Every scar, every failure, every moment you thought you wouldn't make it, these are not signs of weakness. They are proof that you survived. And survival is the raw material from which an unbreakable mind is built. The final element of this blueprint is discipline. Motivation is like a spark. It can ignite the fire, but it won't keep it burning. Discipline is the steady fuel that keeps the flame alive when motivation fades, when you're tired, when the excitement has worn off. An unbreakable mind is not built by doing what's easy or what feels good in the moment. It's built by showing up day after day, even when you don't want to. It's built by making the hard choices, the ones that don't give you instant pleasure but lead to long-term strength. Discipline is waking up early to work on your goals when everyone else is still asleep. It's staying calm in an argument instead of exploding in anger. It's reading that book, hitting the gym, or practicing your craft even when your body and mind tell you to rest. Over time, discipline becomes part of your identity. And when that happens, mental strength is no longer something you have to force. It becomes who you are. If you want to start building your unbreakable mind today, start small, but start now. Wake up and do one thing you've been avoiding. Have the difficult conversation you've been running from, and take the first step toward the goal that scares you. And every time you feel like stopping, remind yourself, I am not here to be comfortable. I am here to grow. Over time, these small acts will become habits, and those habits will shape the mind that can withstand anything. You will still face storms, you will still have moments of doubt, but the difference will be that you will no longer crumble under them. You will no longer see yourself as a victim of life, but as its warrior. You will stand in the middle of chaos with a calm heart and a clear mind, knowing that you are stronger than anything that comes your way. That is the power of an unbreakable mind, and it all begins with the decision to build it. Action step. For the next 7 days, commit to one small act of mental discipline daily. It could be waking up 30 minutes earlier, taking a cold shower, journaling your thoughts, or saying no to something that drains your energy. At the end of each day, write down how it made you feel. You'll be surprised how quickly small actions begin to reshape the way you think and feel.
Chapter 2. Reprogramming Your Beliefs. The most powerful chains are not made of steel. They are made of thoughts. They are invisible, silent, and yet they can hold a person in place for a lifetime. Every one of us is born into a web of beliefs, some of them empowering, many of them limiting. These beliefs are often not chosen by us. They are planted by parents who did their best with what they knew,
by teachers who passed down their own worldviews, by cultures that value tradition over transformation, and by societies that label people before they truly know them. Over time, we begin to carry these beliefs as if they were absolute truths. We don't question them, we live inside them. And yet, an unbreakable mind begins the moment you realize that your beliefs are not permanent. They are stories, and stories can be rewritten. A limiting belief is like a lens with a crack running through it. You may still see the world, but everything is distorted. If deep down you believe, "I'm not smart enough," you will see every opportunity as too advanced for you. If you believe, "People like me never succeed," you will subconsciously sabotage your own progress because it feels safer to fail than to prove yourself wrong. The first step to reprogramming your beliefs is not to cover up these thoughts with fake positivity. It's to expose them to the light of truth. You must be willing to ask yourself the uncomfortable question, is this belief really mine? Or is it a shadow I've been living under without noticing? This self-interrogation takes courage because dismantling a belief often feels like dismantling a part of yourself. But you are not your beliefs. You are the architect who can redesign them. Neuroscience has given us one of the most liberating truths. The human brain is plastic. This neuroplasticity means your brain is constantly reshaping itself based on your thoughts, experiences, and focus. Each time you think a certain thought, you strengthen that pathway in your brain, like carving a deeper groove in the same track. Walk down the same path enough times, and it becomes automatic. This is why someone who constantly says, "I can't," will find countless reasons they can't, while someone who asks, "How can I?" starts seeing possibilities everywhere. That simple shift in language, from finality to curiosity, is one of the fastest ways to start rewiring your mind. But here's the truth. Reprogramming your beliefs doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to limit yourself unnecessarily. Consider an entrepreneur who failed twice in business. They might conclude, "I'm just not good at business." But is that the truth? Or is it that they simply haven't yet found the right strategy, partner, or product? History is full of people who failed repeatedly before changing the world. Thomas Edison famously said, after thousands of unsuccessful experiments, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His belief wasn't, "I'm bad at inventing," it was, "I'm getting closer with every attempt." That belief made all the difference. Changing a belief starts with catching it in action. The moment you hear that inner voice say, "You're not capable," stop it and challenge it. Ask, "Who says?" Ask, "What evidence do I have for the opposite?" Then create a new belief that feels empowering yet realistic. If your old belief was, "I'm terrible at speaking in public," your new one might be, "I am learning to express myself with confidence." Notice that it's not blind optimism. It acknowledges growth as a process. This makes your brain far more willing to adopt it. Visualization is one of the most powerful tools in this process. When you close your eyes and picture yourself achieving a goal, seeing the details, feeling the emotions, hearing the sounds, your brain activates in ways similar to the real experience. Elite athletes use this technique constantly. A skier will mentally rehearse every turn of the race before stepping onto the slope. A boxer will visualize the fight, the rhythm, the strikes, and even the moment their hand is raised in victory. You can do the same for any goal. If you want to speak confidently, visualize yourself on stage, hearing the applause. If you want to stay calm in chaos, imagine yourself centered and unshaken as life swirls around you. These mental rehearsals prepare your mind to recognize success when it arrives and to act accordingly. Affirmations, when used correctly, can also reshape your beliefs. The mistake many make is repeating grand statements they don't truly believe. If you say, "I'm a millionaire," while drowning in debt, your brain will reject it as false. Instead, create affirmations that are aspirational yet believable. For example, I am building the skills and opportunities that lead to wealth. This gives your brain something to work toward instead of something to argue with. But belief reprogramming requires more than mental exercises. It needs evidence. Your mind trusts proof, and you must give it some. This means taking small, consistent actions that reinforce your new belief. If your belief is, I am disciplined, then prove it by keeping a small daily promise to yourself. Even if it's just making your bed, reading 10 minutes a day, or finishing a workout when you feel tired. Each victory, no matter how small, becomes a brick in the foundation of your new identity. Over time, you don't just think differently, you become different. The journey is not without resistance. Your old beliefs will fight for survival, and sometimes so will the people around you. Friends, family, or colleagues might question your changes. They might say, "That's not who you are," or "Don't get your hopes up." Often, this is not malice, but fear. Your growth challenges their comfort zone. Understand this. You do not need to convince them. You need only to protect your mental space. Surround yourself with voices that lift you, environments that inspire you, and habits that align with who you want to become. And remember, this is not a one-time process. Belief reprogramming is lifelong. Every new level of your life will bring new challenges, and with them, new beliefs to transform. You might conquer fear in one area, only to find it waiting for you in another. This is not failure. It is the natural evolution of growth. Think of your mind as a garden. The weeds of old beliefs will try to grow back. Your job is to keep pulling them out and planting stronger seeds. When you change your beliefs, you change your perception of what's possible. You stop waiting for permission, and you start creating your own opportunities. You stop seeing obstacles as stop signs and start seeing them as stepping stones. You begin to understand that you are not a prisoner of your past. You are the designer of your future. This is not an abstract idea. It is a lived reality for anyone willing to do the work. Imagine a world where every person refused to accept false limits. Imagine if instead of saying, "That's just the way I am," we said, "That's who I'm becoming." The energy of such a shift could transform not only individual lives, but entire communities. Because when one person breaks free of a limiting belief, they light a path for others to follow. The walls around you are not real. They are made of thoughts, and thoughts can be changed. Every time you challenge a limiting belief, you chip away at those walls. Every time you install an empowering belief, you reinforce the foundation of your strength. Day by day, brick by brick, you can build a mental fortress so strong that no storm can tear it down. That is the power of reprogramming your beliefs. That is the moment you stop living by default and start living by design.
Chapter 3. Staying Calm in the Storm. Life will test you. Not once, not twice, but over and over again. And it will rarely send you an invitation before the test begins. A phone call in the middle of the night, a sudden loss, a betrayal you didn't see coming, a dream that collapses right when you thought it was within reach. These are the storms we all face. The difference between people who break down and people who rise stronger is not that the strong avoid storms. They don't. It's that they have learned the art of staying calm in the middle of chaos. This is the heart of emotional mastery. Emotional mastery is not about suppressing your feelings or pretending to be unaffected. It's about learning to respond instead of react. A reaction is instant, fueled by raw emotion. It is your survival brain taking the wheel, often steering you toward regret. A response, on the other hand, is deliberate. It's when you take a breath, gather your thoughts, and act in a way that aligns with your values instead of your impulses. The storm may still rage around you, but inside, you are steady. Why is this so hard for most people? Because our emotions are deeply tied to our biology. When you're faced with a threat, whether it's a tiger in the jungle or a harsh email from your boss, your brain triggers the same fight or flight response. Your heart races, your breathing quickens, and your thinking becomes narrow and urgent. This is great if you need to run from danger, but it's terrible if you need to make a wise decision. Mastering your emotions means learning how to pause in those moments, creating space between stimulus and response. One of the most powerful tools for this is awareness. You cannot control what you are unaware of. The moment you notice your emotions rising, your shoulders tensing, your voice sharpening, your thoughts speeding up, you have a chance to step in. That single moment of awareness can be the difference between saying something that heals and saying something that destroys. It can be the difference between turning a challenge into a lesson and turning it into a lifelong regret. But awareness alone is not enough. You need tools to regulate your state. Breathwork is one of the most simple and effective. Slow, deep breaths signal to your nervous system that you are safe, shifting you from a reactive state to a responsive one. Even 3 deep breaths in the middle of a tense situation can change the way you think. Athletes use this before big games. Soldiers use it before critical missions. You can use it in a meeting, during an argument, or when you feel anxiety creeping in. Another powerful practice is perspective shifting. In the heat of the moment, we tend to zoom in so tightly on the problem that it fills our entire mental screen. Perspective shifting forces you to zoom out. Ask yourself, will this matter in a week, in a month, in a year? What would I advise a friend in this situation? This mental distance doesn't make the storm disappear, but it reminds you that storms pass and that you've likely survived worse before. Confidence in uncertain situations comes from trust. Trust in your ability to handle whatever comes. This trust is built over time by facing discomfort instead of avoiding it. Every time you handle a difficult conversation with grace, every time you keep moving forward despite fear, every time you choose patience over panic, you add a layer to your emotional armor. You begin to realize that while you cannot control the storm, you can always control your sail. It's also important to remember that emotional mastery is not about never feeling fear, anger, or sadness. These emotions are part of being human. Mastery is about using them rather than being used by them. Anger can fuel action against injustice. Fear can sharpen your awareness and preparation. Sadness can deepen your empathy. But without mastery, these same emotions can consume you, blind you, and lead you to choices that harm yourself and others. One of the greatest challenges in staying calm during a storm is the influence of other people's emotions. Humans are emotional mirrors. We tend to absorb the energy of those around us. If you're in a room full of panic, it's easy to panic too. This is why protecting your mental space is critical. If someone else's fear or anger is escalating, you can choose to be the anchor instead of another wave. Your calm can become contagious in the same way chaos can. Journaling is another underrated tool for emotional mastery. Writing down your thoughts and feelings after a difficult event gives you clarity and perspective.
It moves your emotions from the swirl of your mind onto the safety of paper, where you can examine them without being overwhelmed. Over time, you begin to notice patterns, triggers that set you off, beliefs that intensify your stress, and strengths you didn't know you had. Emotional mastery is a discipline. It's built in the small moments before it's tested in the big ones. You train for it the way a pilot trains for turbulence, in calm conditions, over and over, so that when the storm hits, the response is automatic. You practice it when someone cuts you off in traffic, when a plan changes unexpectedly, when a conversation takes a turn you didn't expect. These daily moments are your training ground. There is also a deep connection between emotional mastery and leadership. Whether you're leading a team, a family, or simply yourself, people look to you during uncertain times. If your emotions are out of control, you spread instability. But if you remain grounded, you give others permission to find their own center. History's greatest leaders were not the ones who avoided storms. They were the ones who stood steady in the middle of them, guiding others to safe harbor. Here's the truth. Storms will come. Some will be brief and inconvenient. Others will feel like they could wash away everything you've built. You can't control the weather, but you can control how you stand in it. You can be the person who is swept away, or you can be the lighthouse, unshaken, unmoved, shining a light for others. The key is practice, patience, and perspective. Practice because you can't expect to stay calm in life's biggest storms if you lose your temper in its smallest inconveniences. Patience because mastery doesn't happen overnight. It's a muscle you build over time. Perspective because no matter how dark the clouds seem, you remember that storms are temporary, but the strength you gain from them can last a lifetime. Emotional mastery is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about becoming a little calmer, a little wiser, and a little stronger each time the winds blow. And when you look back, you'll see that the storms you thought would break you were the ones that shaped you, the ones that taught you that peace is not found in the absence of trouble, but in the presence of courage.
Chapter 4. Habits that Forge Unbreakable Minds. An unbreakable mind isn't a gift you're born with. It's the result of small, deliberate actions repeated over time. People often admire the extraordinary achievements of others and assume they must possess some rare strength or secret. But if you look closely, you'll see that greatness is rarely built in grand moments. It's crafted quietly, in the mundane hours of daily life, through habits that strengthen your mental muscles day after day. Habits are the architecture of your character. What you choose to do repeatedly, especially when no one is watching, shapes the person you become. For mental strength, the right habits act as a shield against life's storms and as a ladder to reach your highest potential. The beauty of habits is that they don't require you to be perfect, only consistent. Small actions, when compounded, create transformation far greater than bursts of intense effort. One of the most important habits of mentally strong people is discipline over motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It rises and falls with your mood, your environment, and your energy levels. Discipline, on the other hand, is your commitment to act regardless of how you feel. When you commit to doing what matters even when you're tired, uninspired, or distracted, you send a powerful signal to your mind. We don't negotiate with excuses. This discipline becomes the backbone of mental resilience. Another cornerstone habit is the pursuit of small wins. Many people wait for massive breakthroughs to feel progress, but mentally strong individuals know that small victories are the true fuel of momentum. Finishing a workout, reading a few pages, keeping a promise to yourself. These small acts may seem trivial, but they stack up into unshakable confidence. Every time you keep a commitment, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. And trust in yourself is the foundation of an unbreakable mind. Protecting your energy is also non-negotiable. Your mind is like a battery, and it can't run endlessly without being recharged. Strong-minded people set clear boundaries around their time, relationships, and environment. They understand that saying yes to everything is often a disguised form of self-neglect. This means being intentional about the people you spend time with, the content you consume, and the spaces you inhabit. Negativity, gossip, and constant comparison drain your mental reserves, while uplifting conversations, inspiring stories, and calm environments recharge them. Journaling is another powerful practice. Writing down your thoughts helps you process emotions, recognize patterns, and gain perspective. It turns the chaos in your mind into something visible and therefore manageable. Some use it to track goals and celebrate progress. Others use it to release stress and reframe challenges. Over time, journaling becomes a mirror, showing you how far you've come and reminding you of the battles you've already won. Mindfulness is equally essential. In a world of constant noise and distraction, mentally strong people train themselves to be present. Mindfulness doesn't have to mean long meditation sessions, though meditation can be transformative. It can be as simple as taking a moment to breathe deeply before responding in a tense situation, or noticing the details around you during a walk. The practice of being fully in the moment strengthens your ability to stay calm, focused, and intentional, even under pressure. Gratitude is the habit that shifts your entire mental landscape. When life feels heavy, the mind naturally gravitates toward what's missing or going wrong. Gratitude interrupts that cycle by focusing your attention on what's good and abundant in your life. It's not about ignoring problems, it's about refusing to let them blind you to your blessings. Writing down 3 things you're grateful for every day may seem small, but over time it rewires your brain to notice the positive more naturally, making you more resilient in the face of hardship. A less obvious but equally powerful habit is embracing discomfort regularly. Growth lives outside your comfort zone, and mentally strong people seek it on purpose. This could mean taking on a project that challenges your skills, having an honest conversation you've been avoiding, or pushing your body through physical training. By choosing small doses of discomfort daily, you prepare yourself to handle life's unavoidable challenges without panic or resistance. You learn to associate discomfort not with danger, but with opportunity. Another crucial practice is reflection. At the end of the day, mentally strong people pause to ask themselves, what did I learn? Where did I act with courage? Where can I improve? This honest self-audit keeps them aligned with their values and ensures they're moving forward intentionally, not just reacting to life's demands. Reflection transforms experience into wisdom. Consistency ties all these habits together. The truth is, none of these actions will transform your mind overnight, but repeated day after day, they become part of who you are. A single workout won't make you fit, a single journal entry won't bring clarity, and one act of gratitude won't erase negativity. But together, over months and years, they build a foundation that's almost impossible to shake. It's also worth remembering that habits are not about perfection. Even the most disciplined people have off days. What separates the strong from the rest is their ability to reset quickly. They don't let a missed habit spiral into self-criticism or quitting. They understand that strength isn't built by never falling. It's built by getting back up faster every time they do. Ultimately, the habits that forge an unbreakable mind are simple, but not easy. They require intention, patience, and the courage to prioritize long-term growth over short-term comfort. Start small. Pick one habit and commit to it until it becomes second nature. Then add another. Over time, you'll look back and realize that you've become the kind of person who can handle storms with grace, stay focused under pressure, and keep moving forward no matter what. The power of these habits lies not just in what they do for you, but in how they influence others. When people see your consistency, your calm, and your resilience, you become a living example of what's possible. Your habits don't just shape your mind, they shape the minds of those around you. An unbreakable mind is built in the quiet, ordinary moments of life. It's built in the choice to wake up and face the day even when you'd rather hide. It's built in the decision to turn off the noise and focus on what truly matters. It's built in the thousands of small acts of discipline, gratitude, and courage that no one else sees. And one day, when life throws its worst at you, you'll stand firm, not because you were born strong, but because you built yourself that way, one habit at a time.
Chapter 5: The Warrior Mindset: Living Without Limits. Life is a battlefield, sometimes quiet and deceptively calm, sometimes loud and chaotic. Every person is fighting some kind of war, some against circumstances, some against fear, and others against the weaknesses within themselves. The warrior mindset isn't about walking through life with constant aggression. It's about walking through life with constant readiness. It's about recognizing that challenges aren't enemies, they're teachers. Every obstacle is not a wall meant to stop you, but a doorway meant to shape you into something stronger. A warrior knows that life offers no guarantees of comfort, but it always offers the choice of strength. This mindset trains you to face difficulties instead of running from them, because running brings temporary relief, but facing them brings permanent transformation. A warrior never prays for an easy life. They prepare themselves for a life that will test them. The moment you stop wishing for fewer problems and start wishing for greater strength, you begin to step into this way of thinking. One of the core principles of the warrior mindset is viewing discomfort as a form of training. Comfort zones may feel safe, but they slowly drain your potential. True growth happens in the moments when your muscles ache, your mind protests, and your fears whisper for you to stop. The warrior hears those whispers and moves forward anyway, not recklessly, but with the understanding that each step beyond comfort is a step toward mastery. Whether it's learning a new skill, confronting a difficult conversation, or taking a leap into the unknown, the warrior approaches each challenge with the belief, "This is where I grow." The warrior mindset also transforms the way you see pain. Pain is inevitable in life: loss, failure, heartbreak, disappointment. But the warrior does not let pain turn into bitterness. Instead, they turn it into fuel. They use it to sharpen their focus, deepen their empathy, and strengthen their resolve. Warriors understand that pain can break you or build you, and the deciding factor is not the pain itself, but the meaning you assign to it. Instead of asking, "Why me?" they ask, "What is this teaching me?" This subtle shift transforms suffering into a source of power. Another defining trait of the warrior mindset is the refusal to be defined by limits, whether those limits come from society, other people's opinions, or your own doubts. The warrior knows that most limits are mental constructs. They test boundaries constantly, not out of rebellion, but out of curiosity and the hunger for what lies beyond. They understand that failure is not a dead end, but a data point, information that guides the next attempt. Warriors measure success not by avoiding failure, but by the courage to keep showing up even when the outcome is uncertain. Discipline, as in previous chapters, remains the foundation, but in the warrior mindset, discipline becomes an identity. It's not just about doing what's necessary. It's about becoming someone who thrives on preparation, consistency, and responsibility. Warriors don't wait for the right moment, they create it. They don't wait for motivation. They move regardless. They know that their habits today will determine their strength tomorrow, so they treat every small action as part of their training. Resilience is also a hallmark of the warrior spirit. Warriors don't expect life to be fair. They expect it to be unpredictable, and they train accordingly. When setbacks come, they feel the sting like anyone else, but they refuse to stay down. Every time they rise after a fall, their belief in themselves grows stronger. To them, resilience is not about pretending nothing hurts. It's about refusing to let what hurts control their next move. The warrior mindset also has a deep connection to leadership. A true warrior does not fight only for themselves. They fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. They lead by example, showing others that strength is possible, not just talking about it. They inspire by action, not by words alone. In teams, families, or communities, their presence is steadying. People draw courage from the way a warrior carries themselves, not because they never feel fear, but because they act with purpose in spite of it. Perspective is another weapon in the warrior's arsenal. Where others see impossible odds, the warrior sees an opportunity to prove what's possible. Where others see chaos, the warrior looks for the signal within the noise. This ability to reframe situations is not naive optimism, it's strategic vision. By refusing to be blinded by negativity, warriors maintain clarity under pressure, allowing them to make decisive, impactful moves when others freeze. But perhaps the most profound element of the warrior mindset is that it's a lifelong journey. There is no final battle after which you can hang up your armor. The world will always evolve. New challenges will always appear, and the warrior continues to grow with them. They remain a student of themselves, of life, and of the lessons hidden in each trial. They understand that the goal is not to win once and for all, but to keep becoming stronger, wiser, and more capable over time. Living without limits does not mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to be controlled by it. It means understanding the risks, acknowledging the challenges, and still stepping forward because your values are worth it. It means choosing to live fully rather than safely, and to stand firm when everything around you feels unstable. It means knowing that fear may walk beside you, but it will never lead you. The warrior mindset is not for a select few. It is available to anyone willing to train their mind, face their fears, and commit to growth. It demands courage, patience, and an unshakable belief that you can become more than your circumstances. And when you live this way, you give others permission to do the same. Your courage becomes contagious, your resilience becomes inspiring, and your journey becomes a map for those who will one day face their own storms. In the end, a warrior's greatest victory is not over any enemy outside, it's over the doubts, excuses, and fears within. When you master that, you are no longer bound by the limits of comfort, the weight of past mistakes, or the opinions of those who cannot see your vision. You become free, free to live, free to grow, and free to face whatever comes next with a steady heart and an unbreakable mind.
Conclusion: your journey has just begun. Building an unbreakable mind is not a final destination. It is a lifelong journey. Each chapter in this book has given you the foundations to strengthen your mind, clarify your thinking, and ignite your inner resolve. But remember, real power does not come from what you have read. It comes from what you choose to live. You have learned that self-awareness is the first step toward transformation, that reprogramming your beliefs can open doors you once thought were locked, and that mastering your emotions can keep you steady in the fiercest storms. You've seen how discipline and intentional habits can forge a mind that thrives under pressure,
and how adopting the warrior mindset allows you to face life without limits. The truth is, challenges will never disappear. Fear, uncertainty, and discomfort will visit you again and again. But with the mindset you've built, you are no longer at their mercy. You are the one who decides how you respond, how you grow, and how you turn obstacles into stepping stones. The unbreakable mind is not about never falling. It's about rising every time you do. It's about turning pain into purpose, setbacks into strategy, and fear into fuel. It's about becoming the kind of person who can stand tall in the face of chaos, not because life is easy, but because you are prepared. So as you step forward from these pages into the rest of your life, remember this: your greatest battle is not with the world. It is with the limitations you once believed about yourself. And now you have the tools to win that battle every single day. Your journey has just begun. Walk it with courage, live it with purpose, and never stop building your unbreakable mind.